Hi, I'm Alex, the developer of Another Bad Day in the Future, and here's what I've been working on today. So I have been updating the tutorial, and this would be a good moment to talk about some of the design things about the game. All right, so one of the things, this bed is, well, it's a bed, and it's now the scale of the rest of the furniture in the game, which is kind of enormous. That's intentional. I'm a giant. It would be nice that I like to design realities in which it fits properly for me after a lifetime of not fitting in real life. But anyway, so you don't snap on top of furniture in the game, and this is intentional because while I'm in this piece of furniture, I can't run around because I'm in the middle of a piece of furniture. I can still climb though. And you can climb furniture in real life, and there's normally this risk of when you're monkeying around on furniture, you can, fall and hurt yourself. So if you screw up climbing, say on a piece of furniture in the game, you will fall through it.
You have been knocked out. Please lay down on your back within the next 60 seconds, or you will die.
Yeah, so when you knock yourself out, you need to, everything goes black until you lay down. You get to listen to me talk at you again. I'm sure you'll be super tired of my voice after you play this game for a while. But, yeah, you fall into, you can knock yourself out. Whenever you do knock yourself out, you fix it by laying down on the ground. When you're laying down like that, you can still climb. So use that to get yourself out of things. If you happen to have fallen in like the middle of the bed, you can still climb your way out. But yeah, that is intentional. That is how the furniture is supposed to work. It's supposed to be something that is an inconvenience. A lot of what happens with furniture, with objects like this, where they're snapping, you can actually kind of just step forward in the play space to just immediately go over it, and it ends up not being much of a, well, it just doesn't end up impeding your movement very much when furniture totally should. I added a bit of block here to knock yourself out on and explains how knockout works. Yeah, normal tutorial stuff. So there's lots of different types of objects in the game. Some of them you just pick up and grab with the controller, or you just, well, of course you always pick it up and grab the controller. What a silly thing to say. Anyway, you just pick it up and grab it with the trigger. When you release the trigger, it falls. Pretty straightforward. What you would expect for objects. Some objects can be stored in your inventory, some can't. An easiest way to tell is try to drop it in your inventory. If you can, you can. If you can't, you can't. Some objects, when you pick them up with the trigger, they stay in your hand. I have released the trigger and it's still in my hand, wobbling about. And the only way to drop them is by hitting the grip button, either on the Vive or I call it the grab button. It's the one. I don't know how to describe where the button is. I guess it's the other trigger that isn't the index trigger. I always just say it's the grip button in all my UI now that I think about it. Yeah, you drop it by hitting that button. So then some objects are used. So if I pull, while it's sitting in my hand like this, if I do pull the trigger, it starts spewing fire. Guns spew bullets. There aren't too many usable objects other than guns, honestly, right now. On top of that, some objects also, as you can see, I actually have one of these, can be stored in your inventory, have what's called an operation menu. So while I'm holding this object, I push down on the thumbstick and it says eject. Or if I move around in a circle motion, I can pick different options. This object either has eject or cancel. If I hit eject, it explodes into an expandable bag, which is a handy object. It lets you store valuables. Valuables are objects when you pick them up, they have a value. Well, this picture of this fellow is not worth much. This one is apparently worth $19. This pack of data is worth $50, and this giant bar of gold, I need to scale that a bit, is $200. And the bag tells you how much money it's worth. These don't fit in your inventory. You have to actually carry them around in the environment. This is intentional, so other people can tell you that you're carrying loot, and maybe they want to rob you. But yeah, those are the three main types of objects. They either are just something you can grab, something that has commands that you click with thumbstick or trackpad, or they have a use. And some of them even have use, like the guns also have commands, like you give it a command to eject. Those are the objects in the game. Types of objects, I should say. Let's move over to the matrix. So, when you hit the grab button, or the grip button, the grip button, the side trigger on the Oculus, your hand turns into what I call the matrix noodle. I guess you could call it a matrix indicator, but I like matrix noodle better, so it's the matrix noodle. When your hand is like this, you can't run around. I can't run around. I can't grab things on the ground. Bad example. Yeah, no, I'm not grabbing that object. My hand is in matrix mode. This means it doesn't interact with physical reality, but that means I can interact with matrix reality. One of the first things that enables me to do is if I press down with the thumbstick or the trackpad on the Vive, I get a circular menu, which gives me options on menus I can open, like online chat. Once you release the thumbstick or trackpad, the menu pops up. And it's pretty straightforward. When I have my, hand in matrix noodle, I can point at the UI and pull the trigger, and it goes there. Clicks. use the UI as I wish. Additionally, when I have my hand in this matrix noodle, if I move it up to one of these displays, it turns into a circle, and that's telling me that if I pull and hold the trigger now, I can move this display wherever I want, which is a pretty handy thing. I can leave it right there, and it stays locked to your play space. So if I take I need to clean my play space out. If I take a couple steps back my play space, it's still there. But if I start running, it stays relative to me. This is pretty handy, especially when you have things like your work display that tells you what kind of jobs you're doing. I like to leave it up here above me, because, well, I guess threats can totally come from above, but I've been playing by myself mostly, so it's not like there's a lot of threats. So, also, when you're in Matrix mode, you can access devices. When you're in Matrix, when at least one of your hands is in Matrix mode, you can see which devices you can interact with. They start glowing, and you can see them through walls and off into the distance, which is pretty handy. It helps you let you scout. So, let's say I wanted to use this nifty vending machine that it vends expandable bags to help you clean up the city. I aim my matrix noodle at it. I pull and hold the trigger. It's going to then lock to it, well, at least close to it. I'm not. There are graphical glitches because I'm just one guy and there's only so much you can do. A matrix, and then another circular menu appears. I just move my thumbstick to whatever option I want. When I've gotten to the option I want, I release the trigger, and it happens. In this case, I dropped a expandable bag down. Hooray, more expandable bags. Dropped into my inventory. Some objects you're going to need to hack or dive. When you dive an object, it's going to tell you how you need to hack to gain access to it. In this case, since this is just a plant that when I type to it, when I send it a command, it'll just show whatever I send above it. So whenever a keyboard spawns, your matrix noodles will be replaced by these mallets. The keyboard will not go away until you hit the return key. When I do that, it's gone. Hack back into this. It is also a matrix display, so you can move it around. If you put your hand down to the bottom corners when you're in matrix mode, bottom corners of this, you can position it, and it stays relative to your play space when you run around, just like anything else. So let's... Hi. Pretty straightforward. Oh, another really a handy feature is when you're in matrix mode, you can actually move your inventory slots around and position them where you like. They will stay relative to your head, not your play space. So when I move around, it does move. I am still making all sorts of ergonomic changes to get some of that weird wobble out and some other stuff. But yeah, there are 5 slots in your inventory. This is your magazine, or where magazines and some other minor objects spawn. Two-handed weapons, ammo belt where boxes of ammo will be placed, and then 2 sidearms. There are 5 slots. So yeah, you can position them where you like. So I can pop into here and activate this door to open it. This is just explaining. So the goal of the game is to get your party's laws passed. Currently, the legal system, there's a dynamic legal system in the game where players vote on laws. There can be at most 5 laws in effect at a single time, and the goal of the game is to get your party's law, all 5 laws, to be of by your party. I've never actually managed to pull this off, but someone's going to, and I look forward to hearing about who it is and how they did it. There's also still the firing range, full of guns. You know, shoot things. Well, shoot at targets. Some of the magazines do have bounce ammo in them. There are various ammo types in the game. Oh, one of these did. Oh yeah, this is bounce. Be careful because you can totally kill yourself with this stuff. Normally, oh right. I'm sorry. I spent a lot of time in the developer's build where there's convenient little bullet trails. So currently there's a bunch of bullets bouncing around this room that I want to now leave before I kill myself. But yeah, that's what I've been working on. Just adding that extra object room and kind of improving the tutorial to try to make it a little bit more clear. The game is pretty complicated. Yeah, there was also some changes to the UI. I made it so you could actually buy Scout in the game because I put all that time into making the Scout augment and you couldn't buy it because I'm a freaking idiot. But that happens sometimes. But yeah, that's what I've been working on today, is mostly just those improvements to the UI. I did some improvements to the map. I did light builds for everything. But yeah, that's what I've been working on today. It's always another bad day in the future. Have a good day.